Hello and welcome to another video from the Fantasy Legion. We're starting with some player profiles. So I've got Sean with me again, and I asked
It's good to be back.
Yeah, I asked you who you wanted to do, and you said Miles Sanders. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I do.
So the running back, Philadelphia Eagles. Are you a buyer or are you an avoider of Miles?
It's an absolute buy for me. I mean, he proved last year how good he is if he's given the opportunity and the load. Philadelphia should heed the warning. You know, sometimes I know coaches have philosophies, and I think Philadelphia's coach is one of those guys who has a kind of what's the right word? A sort of style for utilising multiple backs because of the RPO plays that Philadelphia really like and have been very successful at using. And obviously, it led to a Super Bowl for them. But I think Miles Sanders is a player that's proved that he is more than capable of handling the workload. He looked exceptional down the stretch last year. I know you had him in a couple of teams. I had him in one, and I was delighted to have him in that team.
Yeah, he made a really strongly.
Significant contribution to that team. And, you know, I really do hope that they continue where they left off with him and continue to expand out his role, because I felt the more he was getting, the more of the role he was getting, the better he was becoming. Some players get better the more responsibility that's put on them, and I think he's one of those players. And so, absolutely, and I think his ADP, I do apologise if you're seeing Paige's head in the picture, it's because she's with me today. But she loves videos too. And yeah, I think I'd like to see him. I think he definitely warrants his position on the ADP charts, and that's fair where he is. There is a little bit of wriggle room for risk, but I feel very comfortable that what we saw last year is his floor.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, he really thrived when Jordan Howard went down last year, and Jordan Howard's not there this year. So, you know, they do rotate their running backs. That's the only possible downside.
The concern,
the Eagles do it consistently, and thinking they'll do it any different this year is probably wrong. They will. They've got Boston Scott, haven't they? They're going to mix in. He was good in his brief appearances last year as well.
But I mean, if we had to guess, even if we assume he doesn't have an absolute first down back role, and that's basically where his ADP is telling you he's not got. You're not drafting him with a round one. That kind of carry load on him. Round two is generally where he's falling into most drafts. Some, obviously, big leagues, he'll fall at the latter end of the first round. But that's okay. I think he can get at least 200 touches on the ground and probably somewhere around about 40 or 50 catches in the end. That makes him fairly safe, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's obviously more valuable in PPR. Like you say, he's going to get a lot of catches as well. So, does the Eagles' lack of, receiving talent worry you? I mean, they're going through a bit of change. Alshon Jeffrey he's looking, things are really trending down for him. Injury worries, things like that. They've got a rookie wide receiver.
I feel looking at the whole team. Yeah, it's a great question now. I mean, looking at the whole team, I think that Miles Sanders, to me, looks the pick of the crop of all the players in that team, even the quarterback. I just feel there are issues everywhere, really, except him. He looks young, efficient, exciting to watch. There's a lot to like. So I feel when it comes to the Eagles, they just seem to be plagued by injuries. And I just think
they've already lost that Pro Bowl guard, haven't they? So that also is another negative for Sanders.
And normally I look at, when I see players, particularly teams, sometimes, bad luck comes into it. But occasionally when you start assessing trends with teams, you sometimes see there's an underlying reason that something is going on in a particular facility. So it might be down to the coaching regime, the various ways people take care of themselves in the off-season. There's a lot to consider when it comes to injuries. And the Eagles are a little bit like San Francisco, heavily affected by them over the last few years. If you really track and we're not talking the obvious injuries, we're talking the ones that are really weird injuries that don't seem connected. There often is a reason. It's like looking at a manager in a facility. If you didn't know how good the manager was, look at the absence records. This is the reality of American football as well. Just scale back everything and look at what's going on in terms of missed games. And sometimes there could be an underlying reason. I think the Eagles are one of those organisations that there's something else there that needs to be looked at. Maybe they have in the off season and it improves, but they do worry me. I like Miles Sanders. I don't have any issues, no flags around him, nothing at all. And I think he's the pick of the crop when it comes to the Eagles. So I think his ADP is fair. But you're right, there is some risk, and you have to factor that in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm also a fan.
Wisely.
I'm going to I'm certainly going to be drafting him this year, so I'm certainly not put off by those
if
things.
you're being honest, if you're being honest, second round value seems fair for Miles Sanders.
Yeah, probably about 13, 14 to 18 maybe for Sanders.
And I think that's fair.
I'd be happily taking him there. I think just outside the top 10 running backs probably.
And he has a chance, and he does have a chance, doesn't he? I mean, if you look at a player that could take a big leap up into the top 10, he's certainly capable.
He's not going to lose the majority of the touches without an injury, is he? There's nobody.
No.
Boston Scott's not going to. He will be involved, but he's not going to take over the role. I mean, so he's relatively safe barring injury, and he's young, so not to like about him really. Apart from
we're both biased.
Dirty Eagle. I mean,
of course,
it's not really his fault,
Yeah, fair enough.
That's this way.
Fair enough. Well, there we are. I think that's the Eagles. I think we're well set on the Sanders. We both like him.
Okay. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you on the next one.